right. Well, good morning and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants event. My name is Joe Grabowski, and I'll be your host for today. And a happy World Rhino Day to everyone. We love this time of the year. Every fall, we celebrate World Rhino Day by connecting with organizations and groups and people around the world who are protecting our 5 rhino species. So today, we're heading live out into the field to Ol Pejeta Conservancy in Kenya. So it is the home to our planet's last 2 northern white rhinos, Najin and Fatu. But what you might not know is it's also home to the largest black rhino sanctuary in East Africa. It is some of the highest predator densities in all of Kenya, and they still manage a very successful livestock program. So Ol Pejeta seeks to support people who live around its borders, also to ensure wildlife conservation translates to better education, healthcare, and infrastructure for the next generation of wildlife guardians. So we have Dylan joining us live right now. I'm going to bring Dylan in. Hey, Dylan, how you doing today?
I'm good, Joe. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's so great to be connecting. I know we had our test call this morning. It was raining, but it cleared up just in time.
Yes. So we haven't had successful rain seasons, 5 of them actually consecutively, and now we are getting short rains. Though it's not as expected, but you can see this is Najin, so she's eating green grass because there was a time we were supplementing them with hay. Yes.
Yeah, well, that's great. It's great to hear that you're getting a few more regular rains, especially after some seasons when it wasn't happening. And it's nice to see Najin doing a little grazing there.
Yes. So Najin is one of the last 2 northern white rhinos. She's the eldest. Her daughter is called Fatu. And behind Najin is Jacob. So Jacob was trying to bring Fatu closer to us, but I don't know, maybe she's excited because of the grass. We haven't had as much green grass for a long time, so she's excited to feed. So Jacob, say hi.
Hi.
Yes, so that's Jacob. He's one of the caregivers of the last 2 northern white rhinos. Maybe Jacob, you want to say something to our audience as you're walking around.
Jambo, how are you? You're good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, Jacob, it's so great to have you joining us today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it too.
Yes.
Okay.
Jacob, can you explain to everyone why do we have the last 2 northern white rhinos in the world?
So thank you very much, guys. I'm one of the caretaker or the caregiver of these great animals. And at first, when they arrived here, they were 4 in number. There were 2 males and 2 females, but unfortunately, we lost the 2 males, and then we are left with these 2 females. So, and these 2 females, they are incapable of natural reproduction because the one that you can see here is Nanji, the mother, and the mom is 33 years old, and she can conceive, but she has deformity on the back legs. As you can see, can be shown how they are. Can you see them?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see them.
The legs are bent.
Yeah, the back legs are bent. And if you happen to plant semen for Sunni, but not for his father, Barak in Sudan, she cannot be able to carry the pregnancy. Then also she cannot be able to support herself, her body. And then her daughter, she has complications on her uterus also. So she cannot also help us. So now, these guys, the scientists who are specialized in rhinos, have now decided to use a certain technology where they have developed some cells through biological method, what we call it IVF. Yes, IVF, in vitro fertilization. And luckily, we have managed to develop about 22 embryos, and those 22 embryos will be implanted or be carried by the closely relatives, closely related rhinoceros. We call them southern white rhinos. And they are the one to carry the baby for the northern white rhinos. And we are on that process. We have not yet done it.
Yes. Thank you, Jacob. So as Jacob has mentioned, the rhinos were in a zoo, and being in a concrete zoo, they develop complications, especially like Najin on her hind legs. So yes, she can carry it to term. Her daughter has issues with her uterus, and now we are opting to have the closer relatives, so the southern white rhinos, to be surrogates to actually save the northern white rhinos from extinction.
Can I just confirm what Jacob said? Did he say that there's 32 embryos that are preserved right now?
22 embryos
22.
are as of now. Yes.
Okay, and that's amazing conservation using technology with the hope of putting those embryos into their relatives, the southern white rhinos, and hopefully saving the species. I hope we hear some good news in the near future.
Yes, definitely. We will hear good news in the future because the scientists are actually very keen and very enthusiastic and optimistic and zealous in terms of this exercise. So they always come. They were here last week, and we closely monitor the rhinos.
All right. So Dylan, we hear, we're looking at one of only two left of this subspecies of the northern white rhino. So obviously there were many more in the past. What happened to the northern white rhinos? Why are we in this situation where we're down to the last two?
The last two. So it is a historic thing, and Jacob, you can help me. So, do you understand?
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. And the point is that these animals, their origin is northern part of Africa, that is DRC Congo, Central Africa. They were in southern Sudan. That's why we used to call the last name. We call him Sudan. He was born in southern Sudan, and it was only the northern white rhino which was born in the natural habitat, and it was the only rhino which was born in Africa. But the three Najin, Fatu, and Suni were born in a zoo in Czech. But these animals went to those guys. They are rebels. Even now, you understand that to their history, the DRC Congo, the Central Africa, the Southern Sudan, and even they were in Uganda. That's the year 1970 to 80s. And those guys had civil wars or rebels. They used to kill these animals for the weapons. They normally used their horns to purchase weapons. So they almost killed all of them. But fortunately, people from Czech who are specialized in rhinos managed to rescue some of them in DRC Congo and Southern Sudan, that is Sudan, and more others in Central Africa. And that's how they try to they saved about two in DRC Congo, one in Southern Sudan, that is Sudan, and two in Central Africa. And those two were females, their own females, of which those two females were taken to San Diego in the USA. And unfortunately, we lost one due to the old age. That is 2013, and the last one died in 2016. And those who were taken to Czech Republic, they managed to breed went very well. They became 7 in number, but unfortunately, it came a change where the area became unconducive for them to survive there. It became very cold, where that they started dying again until they remained 4. Then when they remained 4, in collaboration to these scientists in all parts of the world, including USA, including Germany, Japan, and many other countries in the world, decided now to sat down, and they concluded that these animals must go back in Africa where they belong to, where they originated. And fortunately, they managed to bring them back in Africa, in Kenya, 2009. And that's how we wanted now to see whether they will maintain or whether they will be capable for natural reproduction. But into the history, they did not manage. So now they harvested the semen for the males before they died, and then they harvested the eggs for the females, and then from there, then they are going to use the southern white rhinos as a surrogate mothers to carry their babies.
Thanks, Jacob. So what Jacob was talking about was the civil wars that were happening in the northern countries of Africa and the central countries of Africa. So let me just go around Najin. And we had also a market of elephant tusks and rhino horns in the Middle East. So there's this notion that it cures a number of diseases. Cancer, it can be used as an aphrodisiac, and some are keeping the horns for trophy. So that was the market for the rhino horns by the civil armies to the Asian countries. So that's how we had the number plummet to what we have the last two right now. I don't know if Najin will allow me to go close to her. So her horn is made of something known as keratin. So it's the same material that makes our fingernails, and it's like hairs. Najin, hi. Hi, Najin. So as you can see somewhere here close by, whoops. Oh, Najin is eating and she doesn't want to be disturbed. But under her horn, we can see things that are coming out like hairs. So that's keratin. And the same materials that make our fingernails are what make Najin and Fatu's horns. So I don't know why don't we just sell our fingernails to this market instead of just killing rhinos?
Yeah, I think it might surprise a lot of students to know that even though it is just made of like our hair, like our fingernails, that horn can sell for like $60,000 a kilogram.
Yes.
Unbelievable. So you can see why there's that pressure on the rhinos, why people are poaching and hunting them illegally when they can get that amount of money for the horn.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. But it's a matter of societal conformations, like people being told or like they have medicinal value, which has been proven that there is no medicinal value to the horns or the elephant tusks.
So Dylan, tell us a little bit more about like a typical day for Najin and Fatu. Do they spend all their time outside grazing, or are they brought in to an enclosure at night? What's their day like?
Okay. Most of the rhinos, normally or naturally, they rest half of the day. When it is too hot, they have to rest. They have to lie down to rest about six hours. But when now they are, as you can see, Najin now, she's enjoying the green grass that we have now. So when it's dry, we have to supplement them sometimes with some hay. But now the rain have already rained. The grass is now they have already shooted. So the grass is in a half range of where they can their limbs can take or they can feed on. So most of the time when the grass when they become the fresh grass come up, that's the time now they enjoy very much. And if you happen even to push them where they sleep, it will take time before you control them. Yeah. So most of the time they can graze a half of the day. Then at night, we supply them with some hay, or we have another enclosure where they sleep closer, where we sleep or our camp is, and with those guys, happy guys, who will look on them, well harmed because of the security. So some in this enclosure, as you can see, it's a large area, but they sleep in a very close area.
Jacob, can you say that we have been, because rhinos are supposed to be free ranging, can we say because them being the last two, we also fear losing them, so we have to give them 24-hour security?
Yes.
And they can't sleep out in the wild like the black rhinos that we have.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's the case.
Thank you.
All right. Well, what do you think, guys? Should we bring in some classrooms and ask some questions?
Yes, sure. We'll love questions.
All right, excellent. Well, if you are tuning in live via YouTube, now's the time you can use the chat. Let us know where you're joining us from and send us in some questions. But for now, I'm going to start bringing in some camera classrooms. So we're going to start off with Miss Tate's crew. There's some 5th graders in New York. Let me bring them in here. Here they come.
5th graders. You know we're 4th graders.
Are you 4th graders? All right. How you doing, New York?
Do you guys have any questions? If you have a question, raise your hand. Isla.
Hi, guys. Hi.
They kind of explain that. Does anybody have a question? Millie, do you have a question? Gray? How old are the rhinos?
Okay, good question. So how old are Najin and Fatu?
Najin age is 33 years old, and then Fatu is 22 years old.
Okay, very cool. Let's jump to another classroom here. We've got Mr. Lloyd's 4th graders hanging out with us. Let me bring them in. Hey, 4th graders, how we doing?
Hi.
All right, Maddie, come on up. All right, listening. Maddie, you can look right here.
How much longer are the rhinos going to live?
The question is how much longer they have to live, or how long can they live?
Okay, when the white rhino are in natural habitat, they can stay up to the lifespan is 40 to 45 years. But when they are in captivity, they can live up to 50 years and above.
All right, very cool. Great question. Okay, let's go to Mrs. Roach's class hanging out with us. How are you doing, middle schoolers?
Yeah.
There they are.
What's your name is?
Hey, everyone.
Hello.
Hi. My name is Gisela, and I was wondering how much they weigh.
Okay. So Dylan, she's wondering about how much they weigh, the rhinos.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. And white rhinos, either southern white rhinos or northern white rhinos, their weight is 3 tons and above. But for the black rhinos, is 1.5 to 1.7 tons lesser than white rhinos.
Okay.
The white rhinos are like 2 times the size of black rhinos.
So about 3 tons. Wow. Very cool. Okay, I think we have a question coming in via the YouTube chat. So let me grab that question here. Oh, this one was from Mrs. Engram's class, and they were wondering about the age of the rhinos. So yeah, we know that in captivity they can live up to 50 years, which is pretty amazing. And then in the wild, maybe 40 to 45. All right. So that was from our class in Nova Scotia. We'll see if they pop another question in for us. We're going to go to Miss Sproat's crew. We have them joining us live. They're in Toronto, Ontario. So they're in Canada. How are we doing today? Good.
The question is, how much do they eat?
How much do they eat in a day? Good question.
Yes, thank you very much for your question. And they can feed in a day 40 to 45 kilos in a day.
Okay.
That's white rhino. Yes.
40 to 45 kilos. So in Canada, if we think of that more in pounds, that's more like between 80 to 90 pounds. So that is a lot of food, a lot of green stuff they're eating each day. Very cool.
A few more questions, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Pop another one in.
Okay.
How recently was the last death of the third last rhino?
Sorry, can you do one more time?
How recently was the last death of the other rhino?
Sorry, it's a little bit windy, so we're just losing. It was how, were you wondering how?
How recently was the last death?
Oh, okay. That would have been, Dylan, was that Sudan who passed away a few years ago?
Yes, the last male to die was Sudan.
And what year was that?
2018, in March 2018, that is, it was 19 March 2018.
All right.
So 2018.
Miss Sports Class, we're going to come back to you, I promise. I just want to get everybody's first question in, and then we'll come back for a few more questions. So I'm going to go to Miss Tubner's third grade class who's joining us. How are we doing, third graders?
How do you know what kind of rhino it is?
Oh, great question. So how do you know what kind of rhino it is? How do you know it's a white rhino?
I think this is best if we go close to the rhinos so that we just point the differences out. Jacob, you want to start with the ears and horns and stuff? Okay, thanks.
Right. So we are on Najin now. The difference between northern white rhino and southern white rhino is, you see the ears for the northern white rhinos, they are much hairy, long hair on the ears, but the southern is none. Look, point at the skin. And you see the skin for the northern white rhinos, they are more rougher. They are like sandpaper. And see what I'm doing? They are like sandpaper. But the southern is a little bit smooth. Look the back. The back for the northern white rhino is almost flat. They are almost flat. But the southern white rhino is convex. Look on the tails. The tails for the northern white rhinos are longer, but the southern is short.
But now that's a difference between a northern and a southern.
And southern.
But what's the difference between a white and a black rhino?
Okay. The white rhinos, they have a wide mouth or square mouth. Square, yeah? But for the black is pointed mouth or triangular. Pointed. For the white is wide. What they eat? White rhinos are grazers. They feed on grass.
Oh, so like Najin right now.
Najin, what she's doing here,
She's
enjoying all the
feeding.
pellets.
Yeah.
But for the black, they are browsers. They browse on leaf, or they feed on leaves and shrubs.
So they need long lips to grab the shrubs.
Exactly.
So white rhinos are grazers, and
grazers,
black rhinos are
white
browsers.
Browsers.
Thank you.
And about the shape of the back, as I said, for the white is convex, then for the black is concave, curved.
Okay.
And then there are behaviors. White rhinos are same social. You can see them in a group of them, 15 to 20. But for the black, they have tempers, high tempers, or they are aggressive, and also they are solitary. They like staying alone. Good?
Good.
Also the size, white rhinos are bigger. Black rhinos are smaller.
Yes. Oh, when we mentioned about weight, white rhinos are like 2 times the size of black rhinos.
Sure, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. That is a great description between the northern and southern white rhinos, and then the difference between the black and the white. Thank you very much for that one. We have a high school crew joining us, Miss Matthew's group in Green River. How are we doing today?
Hi.
Awesome. Let's it's on mute right now, but let's grab a question.
So that's a question, right?
Yeah. How did you get the opportunity to care for? Okay, that's a great question. So, Jaco, how did you become a ranger? How did you get the opportunity to become a ranger?
How did I become a ranger?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. At first, I was a gatekeeper. I was working in a main gate, but it came a dream in my history that I dreamt that one day I'll keep animals. I wash and beekeeping. I do a keeper of great animals, and those are the northern white rhinos. And from there, I did what you call it cross transfer. From my boss. And they gave me almost 2 months. Then finally, I was allowed to go and look at these animals. So that's how I came along these animals. But at first, I was just a farmer. But experience in animals, because in our area we live with many animals there, and also in our place we have natural park. So I was so eager to see whether I could manage to be a ranger, and my dreams became true.
So it's a story of being a farmer to
Yeah.
coming and taking care of
The great
things.
two species.
All right. Jacob, that's so cool. I'm so glad that your dream came true and you're doing what you love. That's very exciting.
Yes. Yeah.
So we've got a question here from a grade 9 class in Nova Scotia. And they're wondering, where did the names come from for Najin and Fatu?
Those are Czech names. So we don't know exactly their meaning, but Fatu is like a Muslim name, Fatuma. But Najin, I cannot tell that. Those are Czech names. They were given names when they were in Czech in a zoo.
Right. Okay. So they had those names already when they were in the Czech Republic at the zoo.
Yes. Yes.
Cool. Very cool. All right. Well, we still have some time for some questions. So I'm going to start visiting some of our classrooms again. We're going to start off with Mrs. Roach's class and see if they have another question for us.
We do, and I would like to know, when are they going to start implanting the embryos and starting that program with the southern white rhinos?
Okay. So that question, they're wondering, when will the first attempt be made to implant? Yeah, the embryos.
Okay, thank you for the question. Because we have fertilized 22 embryos, so it's a risky and it's an experiment that is being done for the first time. So we don't want to waste the embryos. So what we've done, we've also fertilized embryos for southern white rhinos. So we are doing tests currently to see if a rhino can get pregnant through artificial insemination, and then from there we will start implanting the embryos, the northern white embryos, to the southern whites. So it's still a test, but we don't want to waste the 22 embryos that we have at the moment.
All right. Absolutely. Makes total sense to do those tests first. Okay, Mrs. Tubner's class, let's bring you back in, see if you have another question for us.
Here we go.
All right.
Do rhinos ever lay down?
So he's wondering if the rhinos ever lay down to rest.
Of course, they lie. Down.
All right, and I bet it's probably a slow process when they get up. I bet it's a little tough when you're 3 tons.
Is it tough for them to get up?
No, they wake up easily. They don't strain any at all. They don't strain at all. They wake up as usual. No problem at all.
All right, very cool. So that was Miss Tubner's 3rd graders in North Dakota. Let's go to, let's see if Mr. Lloyd's class has another question. Let's bring them back in. There they are, 4th graders.
Why will the northern white rhinos poach more than the southern white rhinos?
Why was the northern white rhino poached more than the southern white rhinos?
Because the northern white rhinos are critically endangered. Most critically endangered. They couldn't get them easily than southern white rhinos.
Okay, so it's a bit easier to get access to them. And then you mentioned the wars as well. So I imagine that was a lot of pressure to get money for weapons and things like that.
Yes, on
Yes,
the
exactly.
northern countries, we had civil wars compared to the countries that are in the southern part of Africa. So their species suffered from that war.
All right, great question from our fourth graders. Mrs. Tate's crew, let's bring you back in. There they are.
Just look in there and you can talk really
What kind of food do they eat?
What kind of food they eat?
When the time they were in a zoo in Czech Republic, they used to eat humans, apples, bananas, then carrots, watermelon. They used to eat human
fruit.
But when they came here
Fruit.
in Africa, we brought the southern white rhino. She is far away that we are not close where she is. We brought southern white rhino to teach them how to live in a natural habitat, how to be a rhino, how to behave like a rhino. And she is the one who taught them how to feed on grass, as you can see what she is doing.
So what Jacob is saying, when they were in the zoo, they were being fed human food. And when they came to Ol Pejeta, we have another southern white rhino who was brought to them and be their friend and teach them how to be a wild rhino. So her name is Tawo, and Tawo taught Najin and Fatu how to feed on grass because Najin didn't do this when she was at the zoo.
All right, so they really had to kind of come to rhino school and figure out what it meant to be wild again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, Miss Sprout's group, let's bring you back in.
Okay, we have 3 questions. Go ahead, Mattea. Be loud, speaking to them.
What do poachers do when they take away the horn?
So what do poachers do when they take the horns from the rhinos? Some of them, they're sold. So a poacher it's like their business, what they do. It's a daily job. So they take the horns and sell them, and they sell them to people who are making necklaces, bangles, and some people make medicine, which scientifically it has been proven that the medicine has no importance. So it's just to make bangles and necklaces and trophies that they keep in their house for decoration.
Okay, Maeve, go ahead.
How many babies can the rhino have at one time? Can they only have one or can they have multiple?
Jacob, how many babies can a rhino have at a go? They have just one.
No, only one. One.
Last
One at a
question.
time. Okay.
How do you feel knowing that you're taking care of the last 5 rhinos in the world?
Jacob, now this is you as a caregiver of the last 2 northern white rhinos. How do you feel knowing that you're only taking care of the last 2?
Because I've been dealing with many people from all parts of the world, and fortunately, I know they know me. Yeah, they came to know me, and whenever they behave, whether they are in a good mood, I know. Whether they are in a bad mood, I know. So I feel very, very great keeping the last 2 species in our planet. So I'm very, very. I appreciate my job.
To add on that, sometimes do you feel sad because they are the last 2?
Of course, but now we are hoping that the IVF will do well. They have already done 2. They are successful to buffaloes, successful to human beings, successful to horses. Why not rhinos? So I have a great hope that we will have new generation for northern white rhinos.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, it's good to have hope because You know, we hear a lot of negative stories about climate change and losing biodiversity. So it is good to hear that there are some stories of hope and that we do still have a chance to save this species. I'm going to bring in our crew in Wyoming one more time. Let's see if they have another question for us.
How long have these two rhinos been on the reservation?
The question is, how long have they been at the northern rhino?
Yes. Yeah, since 2009.
Yeah, so they were brought to Ol Pejeta 2009. So December 2009 till
All right. So I've got one more question here online, Dylan, and I think this is a good one from a group in Maine. They're wondering, well, first of all, they said, thank you so much. It's been a great learning experience. But they also want to know, even though they're far away, are there things that kids can do to help, even though they might live far away?
yes, even you don't have to be a ranger right now or come to Ol Pejeta, but you can start by forming small conservation groups in your school and just advocating for people to look out for them. Things like recycling plastics or deciding not to use plastic, telling your parents not to buy products that are made of rhino horn. And when you get the time and the privilege to come to Ol Pejeta, you can come and visit, take pictures, show your friends. It's just a matter of spreading word to as many people as possible that poaching is not a good thing. And then
Absolutely.
you can also support us. We have adoption and donation programs where you can give as little as $10 to see that the rhinos are getting as much care as needed. So healthcare, food, and also Jacob and the team that's here are also motivated in terms because they have to stay here for 10 months in a year. So you can imagine such kind of sacrifice being away from your family. So it's a way of supporting everyone, the caregivers and the rhinos.
All right. And we have had classrooms in the past who have done things like bake sales in the classroom. They've collected bottles to exchange and then make donations to Ol Pejeta. So that's fun things you can do in your classroom, like a tasty bake sale to help the conservation happening at Ol Pejeta. And then, yeah, we can't wait to hopefully hear some good news in the future because it is pretty much cutting edge conservation using technology to save a species from extinction. You guys do incredible work there. It's amazing to get a chance to speak with people like Jacob, who are so excited to be doing their work and are doing such a great job protecting these species. And I can't think of a better way to spend World Rhino Day than spending a little time with Najin. So Dylan and Jacob, thank you so much for being with us today and making this possible.
Thank you. You're welcome, Joe.
So what
it's an honor to always talk about the plight of the northern white rhinos and how people can come and support this conservation effort.
Absolutely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring all our classrooms in. So let's get nice and loud, boys and girls. A big goodbye and thank you so that Najin can hear you, so that Jacob can hear you. So here we go. Everybody's coming in. Nice, a big, loud goodbye and thank you. All right. Happy Day, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to Ol Pejeta for the amazing conservation work that you do. And we are going to sign off for now. Thanks so much, everyone.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.